let's go to our first guest today. He's a friend in Arkansas. Oh, I hope he can help me feel better. Guys, bring in Chris Jones. He's running for Congress. There he is. What's the word from Arkansas? How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing real well. How you doing, buddy?
I'm distraught.
Look. It the
I know.
Yeah,
But you got great news, and that's one of the reasons
yeah.
why we were because guys, Chris has been here. Let me tell you the story about Chris before you we get into the story. Chris ran for governor of Arkansas against Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
That one who used to be
That
press
one.
secretary at the White, that one, Mike's little girl. Okay. So anyway, so Chris ran and Sarah basically made the media do a media blackout on Chris. I did a story on Chris. It went crazy. Am I lying?
It
People,
Hottest
people were
story
not,
ever done on me.
yeah. People had never, she did a media blackout. She made sure the media wouldn't talk to him. And then when I did that story, it was like, oh my God, oh my God. His numbers started going, but she still won. But guess what? The next chapter. Chris is running for Congress.
Yeah.
And tell us the news.
Well,
There's no media blackout now.
there we go. Look, the hot news is our latest poll has me at 3 points ahead of the incumbent French Hill.
The incumbent. And what party is that incumbent from?
Republican incumbent who votes 98% with Donald Trump, who has been silent on the East Wing, on the fight that's going on in the White House, on the Iran war, on the Epstein files. He said nothing.
Mm.
He's got to
He
go.
said goose egg,
Goose egg.
nada, nothing.
Real quiet, real quiet.
So what does it say for Arkansas that has been purpley? Because we got Bill Clinton out of Arkansas, and
Yes.
then I mean, we've gone back and forth. And, Arkansas is a place that has had its own racial issues.
Yeah.
Little Rock, the Little Rock Nine. Think about
Yeah.
that. I remember going back on the 50th anniversary of the Little Rock Nine going into school. Bill Clinton opened
Yeah.
the
He
doors
was
for me.
opening the door. Yep.
Sarah Sarah Huckabee Sanders was a high school student, she told me, and her father was governor. They didn't act like this back then. And
No.
Sarah even told me she read the book The Help. But why are they acting like this now?
Power,
I mean, a
control,
book doesn't change
and
behavior.
the release of their own evil spirits.
Okay. Well, tell me about Arkansas and why
Yes.
is Arkansas opening its arms to you the way it is? Because you are a black man
Yeah.
and going into very rural areas that necessarily may not look at you as
Yeah.
their representative or hero, and you're winning in the polls
Yeah.
right now.
That's right. Still a ways to go, but we are winning, and we haven't had a Democrat to be ahead in the polls against French Hill. So that's the first. Now here's the deal. Um, Arkansas is an interesting place, and I'll tell you, this is what you'll like. Um, when you show up and talk to folks
Mm.
and show them and respectfully engage with them, it changes things. And then when you add on top of that, that folks are hurting for having to pay $5 for diesel, they can't get fertilizer, farmers can't, and they're hurting. People are
Because
upset
of this
about
war of choice in Iran.
because of this war of choice that he
Mm.
sent us into, that Trump sent us into, that French is silent about. And they're realizing, wait a minute, I can't afford medicine because they cut ACA
Mm.
and healthcare,
Obamacare. Obamacare.
Obamacare. Thank you. They cut Obamacare. I can't afford it. They're saying like my kid is in my home and is concerned that there are no job prospects, in part because AI is taking jobs and nobody's doing anything about it.
Mhm.
So all of these things, and there's an interesting coalition coming together, even around data centers. We got MAGAs standing up with activists to stop data centers, or at least to say, wait a minute, let's pause and get it right before we rush.
So talk to me about the data center issue because here well, I'm in Canada,
Yeah.
but in Maryland, I just did this week this debate congressional debate
Yeah.
forum for those who are going to try to replace Steny Hoyer, elder
Yes.
statesman. He says he's not going to run for office again. The data center issue is hot because it messes with the water quality, it
Yep.
messes with the
Electricity
electricity.
rates. Yep.
Yes, it messes with a whole host of things.
Yep.
And we still don't know really all the health matters because remember how people were talking about high tension wires for a long time and
Yeah.
we don't know fully what data centers could do to the community with all of that they put out for all of our efforts with Claude,
Yep.
Chat GPT, and everything else.
All of it. All of it.
So
All of it. All of it.
what's happening with those residents? What are residents saying there? Because you do have a lot of land there.
We have a lot of land, but we're also the natural state. And we pride
Mhm.
ourselves on being the natural state. And so folks are saying, wait a minute, are you trying to take away our natural state? So the data center in Little Rock, the Little Rock board just put a 1 year moratorium on new data centers. So they actually listened to the community and said, you know what, we're going to pause, we're going to pump the brakes. The mayor of Little Rock just laid out a set of regulations, requirements that if you're going to come, you got to meet these requirements. You got to pay for the electricity rate increase. You have to make sure that that there's no noise level. You have to pay for it, so on and so forth. So I think if we can just pause and have a conversation about it, we can address the concerns of the community. But all of that, to me, for now and for November, means that you have some folks who traditionally would not vote Democrat, who are looking at French Hill saying, "Why are you silent?" And they're
Are
saying,
you
"You've had 10 years to help us, and you haven't done anything."
so you talk to a lot of your
A lot of
fellow candidates and governors and other politicians. What are you hearing right now from them when it comes to this midterm cycle has been very interesting. It's very
them.
newsy, and a lot of people are on the edge of their seats.
Yeah, yeah. I'm hearing from some cautious hopefulness. Like because Trump is exposing who he really is and who they really are. Which means, and look, his wife told us a few years ago when she wore the shirt, "I don't care."
It was a jacket, and she
A
was
jacket,
walking up the
jacket,
steps
yeah.
of that plane.
Well,
I don't care about something.
yeah.
And
So it
yeah,
that was a signal, but
yeah.
now he's saying it out loud, and these elected officials, he doesn't even care about his own party. When he goes for Paxton over Cornyn, he doesn't even care about his own party. So I'm talking to folks, and they're saying, "Look, we're hopeful, but we have to work. We have to register folks nonstop. We have to get our coalitions together, churches,
Mhm.
Greek fraternities and sororities, all kinds of NAACP, Urban League, and we have to get people to the polls in November."
And you are a member of what fraternity?
I'm a member of the oldest and coldest Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Yes, I am.
And that's the fraternity Dr. Martin Luther King was a member of. And it's so interesting you said that. And I'm currently here in Canada
Mm.
for the Delta's Authors on Tour, my sorority. But it was so interesting as you talk like this. I'm listening to a lot of my sorors and some Black people here. They don't have an NAACP here. Like if they need that thing, we
Wow.
have so much that we don't realize. They don't have groups that they can run to like we do
Yep,
for
yep, that
redress and
infrastructure.
help.
Yeah,
Right. And people don't realize the fundamentals and the freedoms that we take for granted. And coming here, I'm like, well, who could I talk to if somebody does something to me?
yeah,
Right? So
yeah,
it's important that you are breaking through, and we're saying this. You're breaking through and past a Republican in this state that
right.
has been Republican for a minute because of Sarah, number one. But also, let's talk about this. And I deal with this, the farming issue. But what
Ooh,
are white farmers saying to you? Because I have been watching, they are my telltale. Because the first term for Donald Trump, it was the forgotten man.
yeah.
Now he's forgotten the white man.
He's
He's
forgotten. He's
forgotten them.
forgotten.
He's for the ones who didn't go to college, the ones who were trying to come
He didn't
up from their
care.
bootstraps.
He didn't care. And he
So
said
are
it.
you
So
their redress? And what are they
yeah,
saying to
yes,
you?
100%. And so here's the deal. Context wise, um, Arkansas is the only former Confederate state that has never sent a black person to Congress. Never in the history, we have never sent a black person to Congress. Now, even with that, and even with folks say who look at my skin color and say I have an issue,
Not even during Reconstruction.
not even doing Reconstruction. To be clear, not even do it.
Ooh.
So, but here's the deal: when you're at risk of losing your farm that has been in your family for 7, 8, 9 generations, and you carry the burden of generations, when Arkansas farm bankruptcies are at a higher rate than any other state. And here's what's worse. Not only is farm bankruptcies, but the suicide rate among farmers in Arkansas is higher than any other state. So this is beyond party label. It's not Republican, it's not Democrat, it's not independent. This is folks' livelihood. And they are literally committing suicide because of the pressure and stress and pain. And he says he doesn't care.
That's like right. And he said it again. You heard Rachel. He
Yep.
basically said it again. And these are his constituents.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this: you're 3 points ahead of the Republican, but you know these polls are 3 points plus minus. So it could break even. So
Yeah.
it's very close. And for you, as you said, the state that has never had a black man in
Yeah.
Congress or a black person in Congress, and for them to be looking at you, you are a
Yes.
contender. You
Yeah.
are a
And
contender.
the conditions are going to get worse because Donald Trump cannot help himself. And the House congressional folks, the Republican congressional folks, including French Hill, have no spine or backbone. So the conditions are going to get worse. And I'll tell you, here's the thing. This is why I'm so thankful to you for shining a light on Arkansas, on my race, on me. I'm so thankful that you're helping me push through because when folks find out, there's still 11% who are undecided, and there's still a significant number of folks who don't know who I am. When folks find out who I am, they overwhelmingly support me.
Wow. Well, let me say this. I interview everybody.
Yeah,
And you and I met because I wanted to do the interview with you in another news organization.
yeah.
And when we did it, there was that thing went viral
It it
because
it blew up.
right. They didn't know. And I said, and it's not about supporting you. I'm not endorsing anyone,
Yeah,
but this is newsy, guys. And we try to give you those things, yeah, things that you know, but also the things that you don't know to keep you informed at a
yeah.
time when they're trying to take your
They're trying.
information
They're trying.
away.
Yeah.
You need to know this.
I mean
So,
the trillionaire billionaire ownership of certain media groups,
mm,
the suppression of our information on Twitter and X about our
suppression.
again, I'm not even talking about party. I'm talking about regular people.
The
Regular people can't get into
algorithms, they are
algorithm
messing with my algorithms everywhere.
everywhere, every day.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go to the chat.
Yes.
Steven says, get behind this man. Don't give up or give in. Volunteer to help his campaign. Susan says, why should we wreck the environment in pocketbooks for a small group of billionaire nerds? Question mark, question mark. Good question.
And
Education is
those
lame.
billionaires are making nerds look bad because I'm a nerd myself. So we
Yeah, you are Jimmy Carter. You're a
yeah,
minister
yeah.
and you are a
A nuclear
chemist,
a
correct?
nuclear a nuclear engineer.
Nuclear engineer. Well, it's all the same. Y'all all nerds and brainy. Nuclear engineer. So I wonder what committees you would try to get on.
Look,
Energy, right?
that part.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah. Yeah, so data centers are right down your lane. So Education is a Lamp says a data center took over the energy grid of an entire town, Lake Tahoe in California, without notifying the residents. They have to find a new provider and build multi-million dollar infrastructures just to get
Wow.
electricity. That is
Wow.
crazy. Daryl says it's my birth state, specifically Pine Bluff.
That's
Don't
my
let him
hometown,
harm.
Pine Bluff, Daryl. I'm from Pine Bluff.
He says, don't let him, Trump, rent space in your head for free. There are other things you can do, whether it's prayer or whatever one does. Just be still. Kate says, wait a minute, their strategy is tragedy. I like that, Kate. Their strategy is
That's
tragedy.
good.
AJ says, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. He'll give him somebody to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you. Lyndon Baines Johnson said that. Former
Hmm.
President Lyndon Baines Johnson, LBJ. 500 from Instagram says, thanks for sharing, April. My dad was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and my grandpa was a founding member. Thank you, 500.
Wow.
Yeah. P says, now, founding member, now could it be of a chapter or a founding member of the org itself?
Fair. Was
Yeah.
he might have been a jewel, he might not have. Yeah.
But no matter what,
Still significant.
yes, he built. Come on with your words. He built significance. Yes. P from Facebook says, "Go, Chris Jones." Charles from Facebook says, "I know he may be too young to remember, but I know J.C. Jeffries will be so proud of this man!" Exclamation! Exclamation! Susan says, "Best guess always. Sorry for the nerds." Kat says, "We need more brain trust in Congress." Um, this and then may I say says, I just love April and her guests. Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, this is something.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, with the trickery that's
Mm,
going on in redistricting in these southern states, where a large portion of minorities are, the lion's share of Black folks are in the South. What do
hmm.
you say to people who are trying to figure out, do I fight this? Are they
Yeah.
bigger than I am? Does it matter? What do you say to people?
They're not bigger than us when we organize. You know, there's an iconic image of a big shark going after to eat a little fish, but then there's a bigger school of fish when they come together and organize that are about to eat the shark. In other words, there are more of us than there are of them. And yes, they are gerrymandering. Yes, they are trying to rig the system to pick their votes. In this moment, this is the moment where we stand up, we show up, we step up, and we vote like crazy. And I'll tell you, in during Reconstruction, right after Civil War, Black folks voted at a rate of 80% across the country. And in Arkansas, Black folks voted at a rate of 90%. So we've done it before. And in this moment, we need to do it again and bring some real change. I do believe that what's going to get us through it right now is coming together, coalition. Like this is a time when we have an opportunity to get beyond labels, and it's humanity versus hate.
Hmm.
It's right versus wrong.
Yeah. Humanity versus hate and freedom. I'm a free woman in
Yeah.
in America. I'm a free woman. And let me say this. Congressional leaders have federal laws they have to deal with,
Yeah.
taxes, environment, data centers, technology, healthcare, you name it.
Yeah.
But they also help with issues in their state and constituent services. What are the top three issues that you would be dealing with or you want to tackle
Yeah. No, I love
when
that
and if
question.
you're elected?
And I
Yeah.
love that question. And I'll tell you, the very first thing that I would do after elected is to build the absolute best constituent services um, team that we have ever seen. Why? Because people are yearning to be heard. They're yearning to have someone to actually address their challenges and their problems. So that's number one. You know, there are a host of things that we want to do when we get to Congress, and it all falls into two buckets for me: affordability. So we want to bring the cost of things down from healthcare to get we can end the war and start to bring the costs down. Um, and then accountability. We got to hold folks accountable for all the madness, everything from the little stuff to the Epstein files. We got to hold folks accountable.
So, okay.
Mm.
If, yeah, you know where I'm going.
I know,
If
yeah,
indeed there is a Democratic tsunami, what does accountability look like? I mean, because we
yeah,
heard Al Green at least six times tried to go for impeachment.
yeah,
And Democrats like, no, it's not the time. I know they
yeah.
regret that
I
now.
think we cannot be timid about holding folks accountable, and we also cannot be timid about building new systems so that we don't end up back in this place. And look, we have an Epstein survivor in this district. She's outspoken. Yes, she has been to DC multiple times. In fact, she's in DC right now, getting ready for the Pam
Mm.
Bondi hearing, talking to folks,
Oh my
and
Lord.
she's getting no support from the Republicans. We cannot allow them to get away with the theft because they're billions and billions of our dollars are just going to them with the all the criminality. So I think we don't worry about what it looks like. We just do right. And right
So
is
remember,
if you break the law, you're held accountable. All of them. If you break the law, you should be held accountable.
so remember Donald Trump said, I don't know Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
his son's wedding that he didn't attend last weekend,
Which
his
can we
son's
can we pause and say who doesn't attend their own child's wedding? Okay, that part. That part.
Mm. So anyway, the wedding of his son Donald Jr., who carries his name, JR, he didn't attend JR's wedding. JR married Jeff Epstein's banker's daughter. Jeff Epstein's banker's daughter. Child, I
What
can't
are we
do this no
doing?
more. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm with you. I'm like, what are we doing? So we cannot be timid about standing on right. And that includes investigating all of them up and down the field. And so I think that's important. I wouldn't be shy about it.
So let me ask you this.
Hmm.
Today in the news at the White
Ooh.
House, when I was here in Toronto, Canada, oh Canada. I'm gonna tell you, there are days I just don't want to go to work because it's the same old mess. My husband and I were talking about that. I just some days it has gotten to that point. It's like, what are we? This is an aberration compared to
Mm.
what I used to cover. And I'm like, anyway, so at the White House today, Treasury is talking about a $250 bill with Donald Trump's face on it. Congress says, you can't do that. You have to be dead. But but the Trump folks are trying to, what do you think about this? Oh Lord.
So here's the challenge. They're throwing all these distractions at us to keep us from focusing on the main thing.
Mhm.
But we have to also focus on those things in addition to the main thing. So in this moment, we have to do double duty. Now, some of us understand what it's like to do double duty and triple duty because we that's how we were raised. But the idea that someone would try to force us to put their face on a $250 bill, what are we doing? When we
Yeah.
have farmers that are committing suicide, when we have kids that are literally they're cutting SNAP benefits, so kids are going hungry. Our maternal mortality rate is through the roof. And what do they want to focus on? Putting his face on a $250 bill, building an arc that's bigger than all the other monuments in DC. It's a vanity project. And I would hope that the next administration comes in and rights those wrongs real quick.
So I want to go back. John
And,
says
and by the
yes.
way, I'm saying I'm glad you got your passport before the new one with his face on it.
My passport isn't up until 2030. So I'm good. I'm good. Anyway, but my children might have to do that. That's a
Uh-oh.
whole nother thing. Chris Jones says, no, not Chris Jones says, for Chris Jones, John says, yes, the power of the people is greater than the people in power. Let's get our voter turnout back up to those Reconstruction numbers. Trisha
Game
says,
changer. Game changer.
yeah. Trisha says, quite literally 3 to 1. Cynthia says, thank you for supporting Epstein victims. A says, thank goodness my passport is good for 8 more years. No Trump picture. You just said that. All right. Pam Wade says, not going to son's wedding wouldn't happen in most families who actually understands what love is. What's love got to do? Got to do with it. Ooh!
Look, well,
What's love
you remember
but a
you asked me that question.
second-hand
Come on
emotion?
now, come on. You remember
Hmm.
you asked me that question. If I met him, what would I say? I don't know if you
Oh,
remember
you
my,
remember? Okay, okay, okay. Okay. What would you
yeah.
say?
You asked me that question if I met him when I was, my answer I think surprised you because I said I would tell him, even though his father didn't love him, God still does.
Mm.
Because you want to talk about we are feeling and experiencing a child who didn't experience love. Now, it does that is to understand the challenge. It's not to excuse the challenge. He still needs to be held accountable. And first of all, we got to stop him, and then we got to hold him accountable. But at the end of the
I'm
day, he's a kid that's unloved.
I'm gonna say something that's
Uh-oh.
gonna be quite controversial. Um, I think he has an emotional abuse. He was taught hate so early.
Very early.
We talked to Mary Trump, his niece, and the
Yeah.
things that she said. I mean, with his father, he was abused emotionally, being
Yes.
taught hate
Yep.
and pushing others away that didn't look like him. And
Right.
who was to say that he was the end all to be all? You know, um,
That's it.
and what he's doing to people. Go ahead.
No, I'm the amen corner over here.
Well, listen, while we are on here, I want you to see something.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who are pondering the idea of running for president. There are
Mm.
a lot of people who are pondering the idea of running for president. And we talked to somebody, U.S. Senator Chris Murphy of
Okay.
Connecticut. And I got to tell you, you saw me ask Gavin Newsom. He tried to be coy about it, but but he's he keeps posting the interview. I said, yeah, I see you. He's
Yes.
doing his little victory lap. I got an interview. April Ryan interviewed me. Yeah, I did. And I asked him the question, but he was real coy. But it's so interesting to hear U.S. Senator Chris Murphy. Team, let's roll that clip, please.
I don't know. I mean, this is kind of an odd book to write if you were, going to run for president because it's not about me, right? I mean, this book is really about that spiritual crisis in the country. I think this will sound a little bit like a line, but it really isn't. I just think you'd be an idiot to be spending this moment like prepping your presidential run when we don't know whether there's going to actually be a free and fair election in 2028. So I just am putting like all my resources into trying to save the democracy and figuring out whether, I have a role to play beyond just being a good senator in the future.
What do you think about that? Um that's something.
Yeah. I mean, look, on the surface, I think he's right. I think that we have to pay attention to this election now. Now, I would contend to him and others, and I lived in Boston for a while. That look, you all cannot overlook states like Arkansas, where we're going to pick up seats, and you got to pay attention to races like this one in the second congressional, which is a swing district. That's what I would share that word to his point because I agree with his point that we need to get 26 right in order to be ready for 28. And if we don't get 26 right, then Lord knows what 28 is going to be like. At the
So let
same
me
time,
say,
I think he's running.
who, Chris Murphy?
Yeah.
For him to say that, but he's right. He
Yes.
is right when we don't know if we're going to have free and fair elections.
I don't
And
know.
people thought I was trying to be a prognosticator that Donald Trump wasn't going to leave. Donald Trump told us he wasn't trying to leave the last
He
time.
is building an underground bunker with a medical facility um, with more computing power than whole states have. It's so the signals are there, not to scare people, but to tell you the reality and the importance and significance of voting right now. And that's not going to be the only thing. That's not going to be enough. Just voting is not enough. We got to vote and work because this guy, they are planning
Ooh,
for the long term. They are planning. They are acting.
you're right. They're planning on a kingship, a regime.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is He said Christians won't have to vote anymore. I'm a Christian. Tell me why.
Tell me why. I'm a Christian too. I'm an ordained. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? Did I don't forget I got my devotional.
What is it? Let's see. Oh,
It,
that's your
that's
devotional?
my second devotional called Quantum Pearls.
All right. All
Yeah, yeah.
right.
So yeah, we
Look,
Christians and ministers over here.
I nuclear physicist. Everybody, I think he's Jimmy Carter in a different skin. He teaches Sunday school and all that. So before I let you go, I'm gonna read
Yeah.
the last few from the chat. John says there's a song from the old post World War II musical South Pacific with the lyric, "You have to be taught to hate." He was taught to hate. He was
Come on
taught
now,
to hate.
John. That's he was taught.
He was taught to hate.
And it was some
Meredith
that was
said,
some serious good teaching because he learned.
and he's still pushing it through, trying to put his face on a $250 bill. We need a $250 bill like we need a $2 bill. A lot of people lost those $2 bills and those yeah, and those what do you call them things the size of a quarter? What were they? Half dollars?
Though they had to have yeah,
Yeah, whatever. Or the dollars that look like quarters. A lot of people lost money with that too. That's telling
mm-hmm,
you something.
mm-hmm.
Meredith says, what can we do in blue states to help our pals in Arkansas right now? What can be done?
Well, there are three things you can do. You can donate immediately, and that's at Jones. You can go to chrisjonesforcongress.com, chrisjonesforcongress.com to donate immediately and consistently. That's helpful. Number two, you can amplify because your point when you started, April, like people need to know. And I need folks amplifying what I'm saying, amplifying the message. So you can go to social media at Jones4AR, Jones4AR across all social media platforms. And then number three, you can show up. Come down to
Mhm.
Arkansas. Come knock on doors. Come do phone banking. Come help us with events. So donate, amplify, and show up.
Donate, amplify, and show up. I'm not supporting, that's just what he said,
Yeah.
because I can't support anybody. I'm a
Mm-mm.
journalist, but I give you the information so you can take and use it
Now,
to make
imagine
a
if
better
all
world.
journalists acted like that. Because
Child, he's scared.
we got some journalists down here that you're either scared or you're on their side. I mean, we have journalists down here that are they may as well be press secretaries for some of these candidates. Okay, I said enough.
Yeah, you got to live there. So just hold your peace. Susan says, good
No,
luck.
we are beyond holding peace. We're letting it all out now. Come on, we're ready to
Yeah.
win this thing.
But this is what I do. I think this is my ministry,
Yeah,
informing. And like my husband and I were talking, they're not trying to give me a press pass over at Capitol Hill. My husband said, you always get what you need every time.
you know,
I said, I don't need it. That's right. All I gotta do
yeah.
is call people and say, let me in by the
God,
hair of my chinny chin chin.
God
And they
got your
let me in.
provision laid out, so you good.
Yes. So I'm a journalist. I can get the job done no matter what. I can have my hands tied behind my back, no computer.
Yeah, yeah.
That phone, let me tell you something. That phone, as long as I have a cord
You good
and
to
I have a
go.
phone, because I can do a lot with that.
I love it.
Yeah, so and then Carly says, best wishes, Chris Jones. You have so much to offer! Exclamation,
Oh, thank
exclamation
you.
point. And uh KY from IG says, please let's stay focused. We must do our part to vote in Dems in a tsunami that completely obliterates MAGA's voice. We must shut them down and put our government back on track. Kathleen says, this has been great. Great. Chris and April, best of luck to you, Chris. Exclamation. With that said, oh, my friend, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
That's some big news. You are 3 points in your polls ahead of the Republican in the
Hmm.
state of Arkansas that's now Republican because of Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Right.
But even if it's a plus minus three, you are in a dead heat.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
saying something for a
It's
man
huge.
who ran for governor. Nobody knew, they did a media blackout on you
Yep.
when you ran against Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and now you're like, oh, that's a big
Let's
deal.
go. Let's go.
That's a
And
big
we got 5 months to tell people. We have 5 months to do the work and show up. And I've been all over this district just like I was all over the state. And I'll tell you, the energy on the ground for change, for someone who will address affordability and put a stop to some of this chaos is high. And it is higher than
Mm.
I've ever seen it because folks just want change. Because they're sick of what we
Folks
get.
just want change.
They just want change.
You know what? Wait a minute. Am I seeing this right? Okay. Well, folks just want change. My team just told me something. And I want to say something to you real quick as well. Guess what? Tracy said, by the way, Harriet Tubman is supposed to be, she said, supposed to be in all caps on the $20 bill soon, right?
Come on. Supposed to be. We know what they try.
Yeah. Well, yeah. 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 Um, you know what happened to that.
We know. We
Barack
know.
Obama wanted it, and then because Donald Trump tried to cushion it the first term when he wasn't a racist, when he said he wasn't a racist,
Yeah.
right? He
But
tried to cushion, we have to study it. Second term, you don't hear nothing about Harriet Tubman.
they're not even
Grandma
trying, not even hiding it.
Grandma Moses, who led people all the way up here from down south through Niagara Falls, all the way up here to Canada.
Right.
And
Right. Yeah.
this country does not have an NAACP. They do not have the
Mm.
freedoms that we have with redress on certain issues with certain groups. Let me tell you something. I'm so proud to be in America,
Yeah.
still fighting for
Yeah.
freedoms.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't know what you have until it's gone, right?
So we got to keep fighting to keep it.
That's right. Chris Jones, I'm going to say goodbye to you. Give
All
your
right.
wife and your babies a hug and kiss for me. His wife is my soror. Tell her I'm
Yeah.
up here with the sorors up here.
She sends her hello to you.
Thank you.
She's one of your biggest fans.
I'm one of hers too. I appreciate you and come back
All
anytime.
right.
You always have to speak. Our
All right.
team loves you.
I love them back, and I don't, because I got my mug here.
Yes.
I needed some scriptures today.
Oh, Bob, that's right. They're not the only ones who are patriots. They're not the only ones who love the Lord. I mean, I'm
That part.
telling you, the commandeering of everything to say it that way. And you know what? Right? White nationalism, Christianity is hateful.
Yeah, it is.
They
Period.
exclude people.
It's anti-biblical and it's hateful.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm. With that said, go be great. See you
All right.
later. You got a
Love you.
space. Thank you.
Take care.
Congratulations on your lead.
All right.
Talk to you soon, Chris.
Take care.